Okay, so today we're going to study knowing a word. I hope the previous lecture was clear to you all. Okay, today Fahad is going to present. Yes, Fahad.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, so in this particular topic, knowing a word, we will be studying about how to access or how to identify a word which is actually stored there in our mind. So it's not a very difficult topic, it's very easy topic, but let's study it. This section and the next explore the nature of vocabulary. They ask what information we need to carry in our minds and what processes we need to apply in order to locate any word that we need. So वही बात है कि मतलब कौन सा information हमें चाहिए होता है कि हम किसी word को जो पहले से हमें सीखी हुई होती है या हम सीखना चाहते हैं तो कौन सी information की ज़रूरत होती है हमें. Note that much of the discussion will necessarily be tentative. It means that they are not fixed. ये fixed नहीं है. So if it is related to human mind, so definitely ये fixed नहीं है. कोई machine होता है, कोई और चीज़ होता है तो fixed होता है. Psycholinguistics have come to certain conclusion by reflecting on what we know of words and how they operate. From these, they have constructed models, diagrammatic representations of our lexical competence. So many psycholinguists, they have actually presented some models as well, usually in the form of diagrammatic representations, which clarify our lexical competence. Although the models
What is lexical competence? What is lexical
lexical, ma'am, actually I'm discussing it further in Lexicon, ma'am. Lexical competence actually, the words are the information about a language we have in our mind. That is actually our lexical competence. So in order to study that lexical competence or to analyze, to examine that information of someone's mind through diagrammatic representation, that is actually, like usually those psycholinguists call them models. So lexical competence, hope it's clear. Although the models are tested experimentally, the results are sometimes contradictory or difficult to interpret. वही बात के वो contradictory होते हैं कि मतलब एक दूसरे से एक दफा एक result आता है, दूसरी दफा दूसरी result आता है experiments के बाद. So they are not fixed actually. So be warned that this section and the next pose questions to which we may not yet have single or clear answers. So if they are not fixed, so definitely fixed answer तो नहीं होगा या एक simple clear answer तो नहीं होगा, different मुख्तलिफ answers होंगे उसके लिए. You will be encouraged to form your own views. First, note of caution about the term word. We think we know what a word is, because we are so used to seeing words separated by pauses on the printed page. But this does not serve to characterize a word when it occurs in a connected speech. Usually we think of a word that we actually know that word, but it's not the case. Once we learn a word, like एक word होता है ना, वो different context में, connected speech में different तरह आ सकता है, तो हम ये नहीं, मतलब हम इस तरह नहीं कह सकते हाँ इस वर्ड का बस हमने एक मीनिंग उठा लिया बस ये मुझे पता है नहीं. वो अगर प्रॉपर सेंटेंस में आ जाए तब हम उसको पहचान सके तो इस तरह मतलब डिफरेंट मीनिंग देता है. The best way of conceiving of a word.
Okay, it's elaborated, then I'll give a crux of it. Yes. Continue, Fahad.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. The best way of conceiving a word is a movable unit of meaning which cannot be broken into smaller freestanding pieces. Furthermore, we should not lose sight of the fact that some units of meanings, e.g. in front of, bust of, by, and large, consist of more than one word. So it is often more precise when discussing vocabulary to refer to lexical items rather than to words. So but if we are linguistic students, so we shouldn't talk about words. So we should actually refer to lexical items. What items do we have in our mind? Word की अगर हम बात करें तो word तो एक simple word होता है, लेकिन lexical items actually मुख्तलिफ words combine होकर एक lexical item भी बना सकता है.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me conclude it. This or give you the crux of this. So basically, what we are doing in or understanding in knowing a word is that we are looking at the vocabulary, because vocabulary is something which is combined or made up of different words that we know of, right? As a layman, we say a word, like we say it's a word, but as a linguist, as Fahad explained, that we have to use lexical items. But why we have to use lexical items rather than words? Because when we use the term word, we think that we're using it for a single stretch of letter, alphabets, which is considered as one unit, right? But this one unit, when we are using it in reading, when we are seeing it on the, if you are seeing this screen right now, so you see knowing is a word, then a is a word, and then word is a word. But then we perceive them as a word because they are written with pauses. If something is written without space or without pause, then we consider it as one word, right? But if what if we say it in spoken? So they have not written it over here, but even in spoken we take pauses when we are speaking. But in speaking, those pauses are so you can say so minute or short that we cannot identify it as words. Sometimes we misunderstand it for syllables as well, because even in syllables we take pauses, right? So when we are using when we are considering in psycholinguistics, when we are considering some words, so we consider them as lexical items and not words. Now, why we consider them as lexical items? Because any word has a specific meaning, and that stretch of meaning is associated with a certain word. So that certain word can be one word or two words combined together, which may give you a complete different meaning. So for example, if two words combine, like for example, we have this brought up. Brought up is considered as one lexical item, right? But separately brought and separately up has completely different meaning. Brought means to bring something, right? But when you say brought up, it means kisi ki parvarish karna. So it gives you a completely different meaning. That is why we label them not as words, but we label them as lexical items. Now, the models that psycholinguists have given, they vary. Because why do they vary? Because there's no definite answer to that, and I've explained it to you previously as well in sociolinguistics as well, and in psycholinguistics introduction I've explained it to you as well, that we come towards different conclusions and there's always a gap, and you can always explore those gaps, because sometimes the answer of the research is completely different from what it has been conducted before. So you might get different answers, because we don't have a complete answer for this, that where is the information stored in our mind, and how we retrieve that information when we need that information, and what information comes first about the word, and what information comes second about the word, which will be elaborated by Fahad later in the section. Yes, Fahad, continue.
Okay, so psycholinguistic studies of vocabulary and how we use it fall into three areas. So in these three areas, lexical entries is going to be discussed by me. The rest of the two portions are going to be discussed by Sabur. I don't know if he's present or not. Okay, lexical entries is actually what information do we need to store in our mind about a lexical item. So, for example, if we want to store a lexical item, what information do we need about that specific lexical item in order to be stored fixed? Okay, वो बस बिल्कुल उसकी जो entry है ना वो fix हो जाए. तो कौन सी information हमें चाहिए होता है? अब इस portion में हम ये study करेंगे. Then scroll it down, please.
Okay. Yes.
Lexical storage. Okay, lexical storage. How are lexical items stored in relation to each other? So in lexical storage, it's going to be discussed by Sabur, but let me give you a short idea about it. That how those lexical items are actually stored in our mind. किस तरह वो store हो गए, किस तरीके से, किस process से वो store हो गए. तो वो हम lexical storage में पढ़ेंगे. Then lexical access. So if you all have heard about schema, theory of schema, it's actually the process that enables us to retrieve lexical items when we need them. So we have definitely, if we have stored lexical items, some vocabularies or some information, so in order to need them, we have to access to them. तो फिर हम किस तरह access करते हैं वो सब हम lexical access में पढ़ते हैं फिर. Now this paragraph section A4 is not very important. Let's move toward another paragraph. We start by assuming that each language user has a personal vocabulary store or lexicon. Ma'am, can I share my own screen? I have
Yes, I'll
made
allow
something
you.
ready about lexicon.
Let me allow you to share your own screen, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, now please share.
Okay, so this is actually, when we talk about lexicon, we must know about that. Lexicon is actually the word store of human mind.
I cannot see the screen, your screen, I cannot see that. Anyone else who can see the difference that in the shared screen?
Not yet.
Not there?
Ma'am, मेरा तो share आ रहा है, screen और sharing में. यहाँ पर तो मुझे आ रहा है.
They say no. Where are you, Fahad? The participants. Gul, right?
मैम आपको अपनी स्क्रीन को ब्लैंक करना होगा, उसके बाद ये अपनी स्क्रीन शेयर कर सकता है. आपकी
अच्छा,
स्क्रीन हमें
ठीक
शो
है.
हो रही है.
Allow. Yes, he is sharing screen. Let me stop share. Okay, I still cannot see the screen.
Wait, ma'am.
अभी शाफाद अपलोड करेगा.
अभी हो गई
Oh,
share?
yes, it's shared, yes.
Okay, so if we talk about lexicon, we must know that lexicon is actually the word store of human mind. So word store, actually, we have basically two portions of like dictionary and lexicon. So we are not going to talk about dictionary. Let's talk about lexicon. No, lexicon is, they are, once again, I would say that they are not fixed, like they changes with the time. But if we talk about dictionary, so a book dictionary or machine readable dictionary, they are fixed. In a book, you can have those fixed or those simple printed words. But in lexicon, it is actually the word store of human mind. ये जो हमारे register भी, I guess we call it register too.
Yes, register.
Yeah.
In sociolinguistics.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope it is clear from this diagram. It makes everything clear. क्योंकि मैंने भी जब ये देखा तो ये, and this is a video on YouTube. It's a very interesting lecture.
Yes, I have.
Yes,
I have listened to his all lectures.
Yeah, ma'am. I have also subscribed this channel. So
okay, are you clear about lexicon? Are you clear about lexicon or should I elaborate? Have you switched on the, have you joined it and you have gone somewhere? You can send it in chat. I can read chat. Yes.
Okay, ma'am, let me open this.
Okay, let me elaborate it.
Okay.
Okay, let me elaborate it. Lexicon is the vocabulary. Now, what is vocabulary? Why do we call it vocabulary? Because, as you know, there was a comparison that Fahad shared this screen, in that there was a comparison of dictionary words and then the lexicon. Now, why was there this dictionary and lexicon? A lexicon, just the way dictionary is there with the meaning, but within dictionary, it's in the hard copy and it's in the book, right? Same is the case with lexicon as well. But lexicon, dictionary has got words. Lexicon has got lexical items. And lexical items are those items which has meaning just the way it is written in the dictionary, in the book, but they are in our mind. They are stored in our mind. We know how to use them. We know where to use them. As Fahad Fahad gave the reference of register. So we know which word to be used in which situation, and in what in which with whom. For example, if your father is there, you would never say yar to him, would you? No. Why? There is this lexicon there, but along with this lexicon, the meaning of it is attached to it, and along with the meaning there are other uh, uh, uses attached to it. You know, you cannot use it in front of your parents, or you cannot use it for your parents, right? You can use it for your friends, but you cannot use it for your parents. So this is something that is there. Even in our society, you cannot use it for females as well, right? Can you use yar for me? No, never. This is lexicon, like it's the storage. Every user, every language user has a personal vocabulary stored in there. And then when we talk about these meanings, and we talk about these social meanings attached to it, or how we can use it with male and female, this all comes in schema as well, right? Clear now? Okay, Fahad, move on.
ओके मैम, ये जो दूसरा सेट मैम, ये भी जरा डिस्कस करें इसका
कौन
मुझे
सा?
ठीक से। ये जो इसके लेक्सिकॉन के बारे में, इन विच each person lexicon is set
Consisting of a large set of
large
lexical entries. This is what I talked about. For each lexical item, there is a
Ah.
lexical entry. Each lexical entry has these all information that I have already talked about, right? The question to be
Okay,
considered is, what
okay.
does a lexical entry of this kind need to contain? Like every lexical entry has meaning attached to it, right? Along with that meaning, there are other things attached to it too, like with whom you can use it, with like in sentence, where does it fall? Like even like, can you use in with it? Can you use on with the word that you know? Or where in is used, where on is used, where the is used. Like you haven't studied forensic linguistics, but there was a case in forensic linguistics where where the person was caught by the use of the, because we as a non-native speakers, we do not know where to use the properly, where to use a properly, right? जिस तरह मैंने आप लोगों को पश्तो स्पीकर्स का बताया कि मड़ा और मड़े का फर्क सिर्फ पश्तो स्पीकर्स में ज्यादातर उनको पता होता है, ठीक है? इवन ये जो स्लाइटेस्ट डिफरेंस होता है पठान और पठान का, right? You understand it as a speaker and you can speak it. ठीक है? तो ये जो information होती है, मतलब the information which is there is different. Each information has this lexical entries, and those lexical entries, what are the things that the lexical entry must have? It must have a lot of things. So वो अभी slowly and gradually we'll understand what should be there in the lexical entry. Yes, Fahad,
मैम
overall मैंने explain कर दिया जी.
मैम ये लेक्सिकल एंट्रीज के साथ ये प्रैग्मेटिक्स और सोशल मीनिंग्स भी आ सकती है ना?
आते हैं, बिल्कुल आते हैं.
सही है मैम.
Okay, so now let's discuss this another portion: content versus function words. It's very easy. Yeah, if you remember, we have already studied in third semester in morphology, I guess. Yeah, in morphology. Actually, content words are those words which carry meanings. एक सेंटेंस में या मतलब उसकी स्पेसिफिक मीनिंग होती है. We also call it open class words, जिसको हम बोलते हैं कि they can you can add some other suffixes or prefixes to them. So they are content words, nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs which carry the kind of meaning that we can look up in a dictionary. They are content words. They are also referred to as lexical words. इसको lexical words भी कहते हैं. If you remember, in morphology and lexical morphology, we have studied it. In morpheme topic, we have studied it. So function words, they're also called function words which do not have a clear meaning, but which contribute to the systematic structure of the text. Example might be day of, The auxiliary do you like, okay. These are also termed as grammatical words. So those words which doesn't carry specific meanings, but it actually function as a grammatical words. वो जो meaning words है ना, उसको मतलब मिला के कुछ function करता है, उसका अपना function करता है, function होता है, तो they are actually क्या name is इसका? Function words.
Function words.
They are called function words. So yeah, we can also say that they are 90% close class elements. ये जो prepositions होते हैं, मतलब हम addition नहीं कर सकते इसके साथ. Sometimes we can, अब यहाँ पर अगर do की example ले, auxiliaries की example ले हम तो yes we can add something to them. But 90% ये close यहाँ पर नीचे दिया हुआ है. Function words form a close set. But it's we can say it's 90% close set, क्योंकि वहाँ पर जो do का example दिया गया है, कि do के साथ तो हम भी इस इजाफा कर सकते हैं, तो फिर ठीक नहीं आती. Okay, preposition of position, movement have a demonstrable meaning, but a function that is mainly grammatical. In some languages, the same function might be performed by prefix or suffix. Generally, this preposition or class is function words. Function words from a closed set, we rarely add to their number. Again, by contrast, the set of content words is open, with language user very prone to coin new lexical items to express new concepts. In English, function words usually carry weak stress. अब अगर आप लोगों ने stress वाला topic पढ़ा हो, sentence stress, we actually usually stress on content words. हम content words पे ज़्यादा stress डालते, और जो function words है उस पे हम इतना ज़्यादा stress नहीं डालते. यहाँ पर ये example बहुत ज़बरदस्त है. The bunch of flowers that he brought for Jane. Now see, bunch is content word. We like it carries a specific meaning, but the is actually a function word. अब यहाँ पर जो off है वो भी function word है, function करता है, flowers. So hope you get it. This gives the listener some help in distinguishing them auditorily from content words. Evidence from brain imaging suggests that function words may be stored and processed separately from lexical ones. Why might this be an advantage? Compare the different process that a listener goes through. अब यहाँ पर जो है ना, दो different processes है, इससे आपको बहुत ज़बरदस्त समझ आएगी. On encountering a function word, a listener only needs to match the word to phonological sequence which is stored in the mind. अब फंक्शन वर्ड जब हम उसको प्रॉपर्ली वो करते हैं, तो ये जो लिसनर होता है ना, वो मेनली फोकस करते हैं उसकी फोनोलॉजिकल सीक्वेंस पे, मतलब कि वो किस तरह बोली जाती है. लेकिन जो कंटेंट वर्ड्स होती है, they are actually, a listener not only has to find a match in the phonological store, but also has to access the meaning of the word. So in content word, the case is different. A listener also have to look for the meaning, rather. He also has to look for phonological sequence, but the main thing, he has to look for the meaning of that word. So
Okay,
that is actually the difference between content.
Okay, I have to add something over here, which is the same case where I told you that it's not necessary that you will have one a definite understanding of certain words or certain concepts in psycholinguistics. As Fahad explained that according to brain images, now what brain images, there is this, remember I told you in the very first class that you place some machine or something on the mind of, on the brain of the person, and then you try to analyze that where is the activity going on, or MRIs or CT scan, they show the activity while they are using the words in front of the user. So for example, when you say bunch, or when you say flowers, or when you say bot, or when you say Jane, the activity which goes on, or the, you know, that all the information is carried through the nerves, and that is done through the just like the information in this internet is carried through, you know, electrons are there, right? So this spark is shown on the screen where it is analyzed. You might have seen how we see these CT scans and all that, right? The screen is visible and you can see the activity in different colors over there. So when the psycholinguists are analyzing this kind of activity, they see that for the words like bunch and flowers and bot and Jane, the activity is in different place. Whereas for the words like the, of, that, he, and for, the activity is in a completely different place, right? But when we are, and but there is this question raised on this point where we say that function words, when we are retrieving or when we are talking about function words, so the listener not only needs to match the word with the phonological sequence which is stored in the brain, but also somewhat with the meaning as well. Now, why is it somewhat with the meaning? Because it is through the like we know that in cannot be used with something where you cannot have it, internal part of it. So we say that the person is sitting on, right, on, or in the chair, or the person is or I am holding laptop or holding mobile in my hands. Why not on my hands? The book is on the table, and why not in the table? Right? So when we associate, there are psycholinguists who say that there is association of these function words with the content words, and we cannot separate them. However, they agree on this point that the use of meaning of function words are less than that of, or lesser than that of what is it called, content word, right? Okay, I'm left with 9 minutes in this session. I just wanted to inform you. Yes, Fahad, carry on.
Okay, so furthermore, we are going to talk about the contents of a lexical entry. So before discussing this, I have a very nice picture. This. Okay, can you see it? Okay, form, meaning, use. So in this content of lexical entries, majorly we will be studying about form, meaning, and use. So what is actually form? Form is how a piece of language looks or sounds. Form simply वही बात है कि मतलब एक वो किस तरह दिखती है फोनोलॉजिकली, उसकी क्या वो है, और उसकी जो ऑर्थोग्राफिकल रिप्रेजेंटेशन है वो किस तरह है. अब यहाँ पर जो एग्जांपल है things. So if we listen to this word things, तो हमें पता चलता है कि things क्या है. या अगर हम पढ़े कहीं पे रीड करें things, तो उसकी जो शक्ल होती है हमें पता लगता है कि हाँ ये यही things है. Yes ma'am.
This sound that I said, Fahad, is the phonological, right? The sound which we hear is the phonological. ये लेक्सिकल एंट्री फोनोलॉजिकल में आती है. अब फहद कहीं पर भी आपको दिखाई नहीं दे रहा ना लिखा हुआ, ठीक है, लेकिन आप सुन रहे हैं कि मैंने फहद बोला. अब जब मैं कोई और नाम बोलती हूँ जैसे सबूर, तो वो कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट साउंड्स हैं, और वो हमें पता है कि वो साउंड्स में ही आता है आपके पास, ठीक है. फिर जब वो कहीं लिखा होगा, जैसे फहद अपना नाम यहाँ सामने कहीं लिख लेता है, ठीक है, वो फिर ऑर्थोग्राफिक में आता है. समथिंग व्हिच इज रिटन इज इन ऑर्थोग्राफिक. अच्छा जी, अब फहद आप कंटिन्यू करें.
Okay, so we are going to study two types of this form as well, but यहाँ पर एक छोटा सा short सा idea मैंने दे दिया. We have orthographical representation plus phonological or morphological representation of form. But before that, let me talk about meaning. So meaning, actually, when you, as ma'am said, Fahad, so definitely you have something in your mind. वो एक वीडियो से चल रही होती है आप लोगों के माइंड में, या एक पिक्चर सा होता है कि फहद कौन है या किस तरह इसकी शक्ल, या फहद के साथ जो मतलब आपकी बातें हो गई हो, कुछ इस तरह इवेंट जो आपके ज़हन में चल रहा होता है, तो वही एक्चुअली मीनिंग होता है. What comes to the mind with that piece of language? No example, that person is up. Thanks की अगर हम example ले तो thanks एक word है ना, तो उसका अगर मतलब हम वो करें कोई thanks बोले तो definitely हमारे ज़हन में याद है कि that person is happy that someone did something good, या कुछ अच्छा उसके साथ किया, तो in response he said thanks. तो इस तरह कुछ हमारे ज़हन में चल रहा होता है, तो that is actually meaning. No, the use actually who uses that, with whom, in what setting. No, अब यहाँ पर बात वही आती है, वो सोशल लिंग्विस्टिक वाली बात आती है कि people who know each other well, not a very big favor to a younger person, etc. No, अब ये thanks और अगर thank you very much या thank you so much की अगर हम बात करें, तो जब बंदा थैंक्स बोलेगा तो डेफिनेटली हमारे ज़हन में आता है कि ये जिस बंदे ने थैंक्स बोला और जिसके साथ थैंक्स जिसको थैंक्स बोला, ये दोनों एक दूसरे के साथ फ्रेंड्स हैं, मतलब इनफॉर्मली वो बोल दिया। थैंक यू सो मच क्यों नहीं बोला? अगर थैंक यू सो मच बोला होता तो डेफिनेटली वो या तो मतलब उसका टीचर होगा या उसका अबू होगा, कोई भी मतलब आउट ऑफ रिस्पेक्ट फॉर्मल लैंग्वेज में वो बोल रहा होता है। तो ये यूजेस हम जो है ना, आप थिंग्स से हमें कितना वो आइडिया हो गया, उसके फार्म जो है ना, ये सब जो है ना लेक्सिकल एंटिटीज की असल में हम बात करते हैं। जो कंटेंट्स होते हैं ना लेक्सिकल, हम एक वर्ड को किस तरह स्टोर करते हैं हम वही बात कर रहे हैं, लेकिन जो यूज होगा तो डेफिनेटली जिसने यूज किया हो, जिसके साथ यूज किया हो और जिस जगह पे यूज किया हो, तो इसमें हम ये बात करते हैं। तो ये सारे मिलके ना एक लेक्सिकल एंटिटी बनाती है, जो कि यू कैन सी जो रजिस्टर टाइप से दिए होंगे ना, तो ये फिर स्टोर हो जाते हैं इसी तरह। तो ये एक शॉर्ट सा आइडिया है। सो लेट्स मूव टुवर्ड द बुक। अभी हम बुक में स्टडी करेंगे, यही चीज हम बुक में स्टडी करेंगे लेकिन इन डिटेल, अ बिट डिटेल। So contents of a lexical entry: what information do we need in order